Story about a woman. This woman was caught in adultery, it says. And that woman who was caught in adultery, we don't know how, we don't know why she was caught. We don't know where the man was, because typically there should be two people there. But yet in that time period, all they cared about was a woman. And so they grabbed that woman, and she was caught in adultery. They grabbed her, they ran out, they threw her on the ground right in front of Jesus. And they said, "We caught this woman in adultery. This woman is unclean. This woman is dirty." And that's significant because once again, that is every single one of our story as well. That we're unclean, that we're dirty. And here's the deal. Whenever you read through the Old Testament, you're going to find this, that the punishment for idolaters, the punishment for people caught in adultery was death. That is what they deserved. That is what they earned. That is what they deserve. That's what they were supposed to have. And so they brought this woman caught in adultery. They threw her at the feet of Jesus. And they said, "Jesus, what should we do with this woman?" Knowing full well what they were supposed to do with this woman. They were supposed to stone and kill her in that moment. And Jesus stood there surrounded by an angry mob. Surrounded by people that were rightfully wanting to kill her. And it says, oddly enough, it says that he bent down and started to write something in the sand. And we don't know what he was actually writing. The Bible doesn't tell us. People try to say, maybe it was the sins of all those that were around him. We don't know. But after he wrote something in the sand that quickly got blown away and we'll never know, he then stood up and he said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." And in that moment, the beautiful story in the gospel is that it says, starting with the oldest, starting with those that knew their sin so well, that knew their sin better than anyone else, it says that they started to drop their stones and leave and walk away. And it went all the way down to the youngest, the most zealous, eventually left and walked away, knowing that they had no right to throw that stone because they were the exact same as that young girl caught in adultery. And now in this moment, it's just her and Jesus. And she's sitting there, just caught in adultery at the feet of Jesus, which, by the way, is exactly where she needed to be. There is no place in the world better to be than at the feet of Jesus in that moment, because he looked at her and he said, "Woman, where are your accusers? Neither do I condemn you." And then he says, "Go and sin no more." He didn't say go back to that brokenness, go back to that adultery relationship, go back to where you should be. He said, "Go and sin no more, but I'm not going to condemn you." See, because Jesus knew that sin deserved death. But he also knew it wasn't going to be her death, it was going to be his death. He said that death is going to be paid for. That sin is going to be paid for, and is going to be paid for on the cross. And so if you're looking at your life, and this has been a hard talk for you because you have made mistakes, and you're looking and you say, "Yeah, I just have broken pieces yet. Who would want this anymore?" I have beautiful news that Jesus wants it. Jesus wants the rose. Jesus wants the broken pieces. He's the one that's saying, I have already paid for that sin. You do not need to if you come and you repent and go and sin no more, my child. He loves you. He loves you more than your broken past. He loves you more than that abortion. He loves you more than that sexual sin. He loves you more than that porn that you were looking at last night. He loves you, but he's saying, "Hey, I paid for it. Go and sin no more." Let's be thankful for the gifts that God has given us. It is so much better. God has something much better than the way that you're living.